All right, we are live. Today is Thursday, May 4th, and this is our design and user experience meeting. We're going to go ahead and do some quick introductions. I'm happy to start. My name is Jan Lampton. I'm currently joining from Oakland, California, where it is unusually winter-like. But I'm very excited about 125, which is coming up here in the near future. So that's it for me. Luke.
I am Luke McCormick, joining from San Ramon, California, which is not far from Oakland, so I had the same weather. I'm a web project manager, and I generally go by Cell Ear on the internet. Let's start with Tim.
Hey, I'm Tim Erickson, St. Paul Tim. I'm in Deerwood, Minnesota, where it is simply gorgeous outside. And the snow is finally gone, and the deer are grazing, and the turkey, it's just beautiful. I'm just returning from mid-camp, sort of. I mean, that was last week, but we had an invigorating couple days at mid-camp, which I really enjoyed. So that's it. That's all of us.
It's all of us. Sorry, it took me a while to find my Zoom window.
Yeah.
So we were thinking about going through the issue queue and trying to find some user experience issues to talk about today. Tim, do you want to lead us on that?
Oh.
No.
Dang it. I suggested it. I said, hey, we can just do this live.
I mean, I could do it, but
do we want to try to look at that user compare visibility rule live? Let's look at it real quick and see if we have thoughts.
Sure.
I'm going to share my screen because I'm trying to describe this. Nate, so this is an issue, a PR that Jen has been working on that's very nearly got into the last issue. And Nate made an alternative PR. He said, fundamentally, it's still the same. Can you, here, both user context fields are shown with labels, first user and second user, but duplicate options are removed from each field. So in the most common use case, there's only one option in each field. The wording on equality check has changed. Can you see the changes?
I am reworking UI to show both user accounts as options. Just looking at his commit here.
Actually, I think that's one of the things you did was you hid one of them deliberately, deliberately because we thought it was confusing.
Oh, so he put it back.
Right.
He undid some of the stuff that I did. So the way that we had it in Drupal was to account for any possible number of use cases. And we decided that that was too confusing for Backdraft. And so we limited it to only the most common use case. And Nate said, don't care, and put it back to like the confusing interface.
Well, yeah.
So maybe we should just talk to him about it in the next meeting, because I want to know what his concern was the first one. I think he might also not know that we were thinking that the more complicated use cases could be handled by Contrib, where it would be first user account, second user account. So
exactly. Okay. Well, is that the main change though, that he just so first user visibility condition and user account compared to the logged in user? Yeah, so
this assumes logged in user is the first context, and he made it so that you can do any so yeah, it doesn't say logged in user account on his. It says first. He also used the word user.
Yeah, well, that's easily fixed.
But that's fine. And then first and second is what his says.
And he may have addressed, Jen, I had tried to submit a PR to your PR, but then deleted, where all I did was delete the word this block.
Yeah, I think I saw yours and merged it.
Oh, maybe you did, but I ended up accidentally deleting the branch or whatever. So I thought maybe I deleted it before you got to it. Either way, it's all it was removing those two words. So you could.
Okay. I can do that.
You could redo it, yeah. And because it looked like I think it's using the same text for both blocks and layouts, and rather than trying to come up with
Yeah,
conditions, I thought we don't really
display
need,
if it's totally fine. Yeah,
Right.
right.
we didn't need those 2 words.
Okay.
Well, that's this issue. So who's next?
Um,
The editor role permissions, we're going to talk about that in the other meeting, right?
yeah. And Greg filed another issue that's a follow-up to the menu UI, which we also got in new options in 125.0, and there's a follow-up for that. It's issue number 6093.
I'm sorry, 6093.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna reopen the 125 milestone because I can't add things to it. Oh wait, there's a link right there. Which is probably.
I'm opening up so this issue just got merged in 1.25. The old one.
Yeah, 2370 just got merged.
Yeah, I did look at that issue. I think I helped test it. Okay, so it looks like mostly not functionally changing it, but just different help text.
He might have also added the new indentation form API property,
Oh,
which we didn't
okay.
have until 125.
Yeah,
It looks like this is now a sub item of the checkbox display mega menu toggle, which is nice. We made a collapsible mobile view.
right. Olaf
I
says
like,
that it looks cluttered. Oh, so the indentation is basically what we're seeing here, that these bullets are indented.
yeah,
Okay. And that's a feature that just got into 1.25, huh? The ability to sort of do that.
yeah. This is an accessibility improvement because if you
Okay.
have to like click twice to open the menu and then go to the link, that can be really confusing. So this just lets you control how it's going to behave.
Okay, well, is there anything to talk about here other than to ask people to look at that and give feedback?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think having more feedback in the issue will be valuable.
Sure.
I don't, so Olaf liked the shorter options, but I don't have any idea what default toggle or link mean. So I kind of like the longer ones, but maybe we can find a way to make the longer ones less cluttery. Like there's probably a happy medium here, but I don't know. I think I have to think about it.
Yeah, so the default toggle and link is what was there. The one, yeah, I mean, I have to say that like default toggle and link means something to me really quickly. The other 3 I would have to like pause and read through. So if you know, if there
You
were
know what the default collapsible behavior is?
parent expands on first tap.
Yeah, you have to read that though.
Yeah,
But that you'd have to read less on the other one. Yeah, and then toggle, like I don't know, maybe it would be enough just like the label changed. So now instead of saying collapsible behavior, it says parent item behavior in collapsible mobile mode. Maybe just with that change, it would be enough, because then like parent item behavior toggle, parent item behavior link. Maybe link isn't, anyway, but needs more thought. So yeah, maybe more people to just look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it for the first time, so I'd like to open it up and try it and give some feedback.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then
Updated 3 minutes ago. Did you just update it, Jen?
I
Oh, it was
added the
working.
125 milestone. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, the permissions. Why don't I scroll through looking for UX?
Okay.
Is this currently getting any action? Why is this recently updated? Oh, just got the milestone. Just
Everything got the
updated or mentioned.
milestone bumped recently too when we did the release.
Okay, so we're going to see things here that aren't necessarily making a lot of movement.
The remove button on multi-value fields, that's something that I just stumbled across that recently because I was looking at a meta issue that Greg had created. And I saw an issue there that he'd linked, and I'm like, oh, I have this issue also. So I went and found it. It's very often that Greg creates a duplicate issue because usually he knows all of the issues. So that excited me that I actually beat him to one. But yeah, there's a handful of modules in Drupal that add a remove button onto multiple value fields. And it seems like something that would be sort of a no-brainer for core. And so, yeah, this is just a question about what people would think about it, what it should look like.
Okay. So here, the top one is what it currently is, and you can add items, but you can't remove them. I think
you can delete the
you
thing
can
and
delete
then
the
save
content,
it.
right? Yeah, I've run into that before. And actually, yeah, okay. So, but we have no PR on that yet. So we need somebody.
Just like feedback, it says it's labeled needs feedback. Like, do we want this in core? So I would just say, if people want that in core, thumbs up it or something, and then we'll know.
Sure. I'd like to, on the topic of the permissions for deleting content, can we talk about, Greg said, seems to be implying, this surprised me a bit, that this is all, that part of this, the problem is that we don't have permission to let somebody unpublish content. So you
need the override node options module in order to grant permissions to individual elements of like the vertical tabs.
Okay. Is that something that's had a lot of discussion before, or is there a reason why that is?
So the only reason why it is because it's included in more wide permission currently. Like the only way you can have access to that thing is if you have like administered content or something like that. And so we could, like, what override node options does is it adds an individual permission for every option on the form, and then it alters the form to check that permission. And so what we could do is just do that specifically for the publish unpublish option, add one more permission for publish unpublish, or two. So override node options also lets you have like a site-wide one that would be like publish, unpublish all content, and then it has an individual one for each node type. So I don't know if we need the individual node type one in core. Maybe we can leave that to override node options. But if we just added one more permission and then had that form check the permission for the publish unpublish box, we could.
Is this the issue? Or this is an old issue? If this is it, allow non-administrative users the ability to publish. No, that's more, this is broader.
Well, this just includes schedule too, which I think might be specific to Backdrop because we have scheduler.
Okay. This sort of, I don't know that I've ever thought about this one before. The one that always gets me is the fact that you can't set view permissions on individual content types in core. And I think Nate has talked about that there might be a reason why that is, or.
Yeah, if you start setting up access control, there's like a huge performance impact of that.
Okay.
And so the thought is that most sites probably aren't going to need
Right.
individual view access. And so putting that something into core that makes everything that much slower is probably not a overall win.
Does this
But
have the same problem or not?
no, because this is just
Oh.
the giving you access to a checkbox on a form. It doesn't
I
actually
see.
control the display of the content at all.
Got it.
So this should not be an issue for that. But to answer your question, with a view access, there could be a way that allows us to do that doesn't use the node access system in the way that the current contrib solutions do that make everything slow, but it will require some rethinking.
Okay. That's one of the biggest, like, the things that puzzles me. Like I frequently forget that isn't there, and I think it should be. And I go and try to do it, and then I'm like, "What? I can't do this." Oh,
I run into that every now and then too, where like intuitively you just sort of expect it to be there, and then when you find it's not there, you're like, "What? Why?" And then but
okay.
when you understand the why, it makes a little more sense. Like the access checking has to happen in a lot of different contexts, like all the menu links have to get checked before they get printed or not. And when you're rebuilding the menu on every page and every node has an access check, it gets bogs down pretty quick.
Okay. Looks like Greg has updated a bunch of issues related to deleting content. This looks like another new one. I don't remember this one. Better content deletion confirm forms. It's not a new issue, but he updated it, I assume, because of this other discussion we're having. Since we've already talked about that, let's see if we can find anything else. Well, here's a new one. I don't know if we need to talk about this much because it seems, oh, this is not the one I thought it was. No, this is not what I thought it was. But we can look at it. Add responsive option to pager choices for view and search. Does that mean anything to you?
I haven't seen this issue before, but
It's a new,
I feel like rather than adding a responsive option, we should find a way to make the current options responsive. But yeah, so the problem is that if you're using like a full pager, this is one of the ones that goes like previous, next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last, or whatever. It takes a lot of horizontal space. And so then if you're on a mobile device, like how do you make that look nice? And I think we need to come up with something that works for both desktop and mobile, rather than adding another option that's like, I mean, we do have a mini pager now. We just added that to search, so that helps.
Yes.
But coming up with some way that on desktop you can have the full pager, and then when you respond, it gets shorter. And I think we handled this on like the backtopcms.org sites just by hiding like the previous or the first, last, and I don't know, like some of the buttons just to make it take less space. But if you're going to have 6 pages worth of buttons in the middle there, it's hard to make them work.
Yeah, so I guess we could mention that this did just get into core with this release, which is it gives you the option, instead of just having a pager, you can now pick a mini pager or a pager. I think there's a screenshot here. Yep. So it was by default a full pager, and now you can select a mini pager.
But you still shouldn't have to like either choose the desktop or choose the mobile. Isn't really the best solution there. We should find a way to make the full pager work on a small screen. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely valuable. I run into this on every site where you have to theme that damn pager staying up too much space.
There is a small follow-up issue, but I don't know that we need to talk about it. It is I was looking for the link to it. I thought it would be here. Just right now, apparently the mini pager shows a previous button, even if you're on page 1, when there is no previous. And it shows a next button when you're on the last one. And so there's a follow-up issue that somebody posted to fix that. You would think that would show up. I do pretty high here. Remove.
When pager is set to 0, the options, no?
Yeah, here. issue 6095. Look at that. Greg found a new issue. What a surprise. Anybody join us? No. On the first page, yeah, I think this is the what it should be, not the what it is. I think the what it is it has the back and the forward link, even when you're on the first or the last page. So
This does not happen in views. Interesting. Okay, so something with our implementation in search that's doing it.
okay.
This is great. We've got a lot of follow-up issues based on our preview release.
Yeah.
Nice job, testers.
Recently updated. Okay. We're almost out of time. Should we see if we can do one more? This is actually useful for me. I don't know if anybody else is getting anything out of this. Oh, well, let's see what the status of this one is, because I know I'm pretty sure I tested this one and there's a PR, but I feel like it got bogged down in like some new features. This issue was basically, do you remember? This is your issue, isn't it? I think you posted it, Jen. Who did the PR? You did the PR, you and RG Piano.
Yeah, I did my PR like years ago though,
Okay.
so it's
So RG
probably
Piano has a
out
newer
of
one.
date. Yeah.
So
2450.
I think that the basic functionality that you originally asked for is working in the PR, but what I think it got bogged down was some people wanted some additional. I'm looking for, I think there's a screenshot. Is it? I think it's this. We don't have that, do we? When you're looking at a display mode, we don't have these vertical or horizontal tabs, and I think Drupal does, and some people
Yeah.
are asking for that in this PR, and I think RG Piano is trying to get that in.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if that's related to the admin bar though. That is just
Sure.
there we have another issue somewhere that's like where are the sub tabs in 7 or something like that. This might be like a menu issue, like we might have the wrong kind of menu item in there, but I don't think we should be fixing that in the thing that only adds stuff to admin bar.
Well, I think I made the point that felt like scope creep, but
Yeah.
I think RG Piano thought he was going to be able to fix it quick, and him and Greg have been going back on that. So we should.
Maybe if I can find the other issue and drop that in, that would be helpful too. Close your PR.
Yep.
Yes, I can
But
close it.
I mean, that is this could go. Is this a bug fix release candidate? It's not listed as a new feature.
Yeah, it's a user experience improvement. It depends on how extensive the tests are. Like if we've
Sure.
added a bunch of tests for it, then it might need to go into a new feature release. But if they're minor, then a core committer may decide it's suitable for a bug fix release.
Well, I need to look at this last little batch of conversation, but my understanding is that and Greg is asking you to close your PR because it's old. Maybe you could do that quick.
Yeah,
But I think
can do
that the question is whether or not, this new thing may be bogging it down. Although maybe, I mean, if RG Piano has that working, is there, maybe we can combine them and just get it in. I don't know. Something we should take a look at that.
I think like if the issue says add something to admin bar, we shouldn't be like changing the way menu routing works. Like just,
Right.
it's a little risky. And I haven't seen the solution. Like it could
Right.
be that the solution is like a no-brainer, but yeah, I'm just gonna see if I can find the other issue for sub tabs.
Okay. But this is, my whole point is that the original issue, I think, was ready to go in, and then they went off on this tangent. So if we can
Yeah.
solve the issue of the tangent, we might be able to get this resolved and close this issue. I am going to, I think we're out of time. The next meeting is supposed to start in a few minutes. People
yeah.
are arriving. Should we, let's stop this meeting and bye everybody. And we'll see some of you in a few minutes at the weekly dev meeting.